It would appear that China keeps cracking down on video games. I remember a couple of months ago when the Chinese government decided how many hours per day a person is allowed to play video games. And I saw video game journalists from very progressive publications carrying water for China, and they were like, oh, this is actually a good thing. You don't understand because it only targets children. So it's a good thing if the government is the daddy. It's a good thing if the government decides how many hours children should play. The government should be very interested into educating your children. You need to work in the factory. You need to do something else, okay? You had a kid. Now mind your own business. The government is here. And I was laughing as I was reading these things. I think like Kotaku also had an article where they said, oh, no, see, it's not the government doing it. It's just an administrational arm of the government doing it. So it's completely different. And they even had, like, if I'm not mistaken, it was like an American Chinese lady that wrote the article. I was like, wow, this is so nice. So would it be cool if in the United States you get to have that, but done to the press? It shouldn't the government ban Kotaku, but it should be like an administrator arm of the government which bans Kotaku. Just first, get people to change their constitution to remove the First Amendment and then start banning the press like Kotaku. They would probably love that, wouldn't they? But anyway, right now, I noticed that Steam has been banned in China. And any reasonable person, anyone that's following this would know that this was coming. Because Steam initially created a watered down version that was available in China. And from what I understand, the only way you can log on is to create a user, and you would have to submit it for approval with your actual identification, with your real face, your real name. And only then would the government allow you, and it had very limited functions and only a couple of games. And any normal person would wonder, it's like, why wouldn't people just use Steam Global? Why would you ever use Steam China? What is the advantage? And the answer was that, well, they were going to ban Steam Global. Any person could have seen this, like any reasonable person. Now, I'm not blaming Steam at all for doing this, because a lot of people were upset at Gabe. From the point of view of Steam, they're not a company that lectures people, that moralizes. They're a company that wants to make money. So they're like, okay, well, you're a fascistic dictatorship. Okay, well, we can make a program for you and everyone else gets to use our normal program. I have no problem with that, by the way. Like, from a moral point of view, I have absolutely no problem with what Steam did. Every other company did the same in the past. I mean, Coca-Cola would deal with the Nazis, and Pepsi would deal with the USSR. I mean, this is not something that I would consider inherently immoral. But the reason that I made this video is that you see a lot of journalists which are saying that the move comes as a surprise. How on earth does this move come as a surprise? A surprise is when you're a woman and the man enters the wrong hole. I mean, that expression is one of surprise. But what we are seeing here is not a surprise. It is the logical chain of events. It was the inevitable conclusion for anyone that was even remotely paying attention. And by the way, this is not just this publication. Like, I have seen 2 or 3 different websites also doing the Pikachu face. So I don't know if they're actually surprised or if they're copy-pasting each other's articles, which is also a possibility at this time. And it's just, why do people read the press? Why do they read it when they're taken aback, when they're shocked? These people might say, oh, it's 6 a.m. and the sun is up. It's a surprise. No. So apparently, like, the move come as a surprise, but it fits the pattern of the Chinese government's act. Well, if it fits the pattern, how is it a surprise? So Fortnite was shut down in China. Children were limited to 3 hours of gaming a week. Cryptocurrency was banned. In order for new games to be allowed, you now need to petition, I guess, the Chinese government to allow them on their version of Steam. And this is also done in order to remove the presence of effeminate men. And by the way, there's a lot of right-wingers cheering this. It's like, oh yes, China is so good for removing effeminate men. Yeah, I'll show you some other things from China, maybe in another video, and see if you still maintain the standard. But anyway, right, so apparently now, if you're in China, you can only use Steam China, which has a couple of games. From what I understand, they still have Counter-Strike and they still have Dota, which are very popular. But other than that, everything you do is being monitored. So the conversations, like all the chat is obviously monitored. You get to use your real name, your real face. So it is what it is. And I guess if you're under the age of 18, you only get 3 hours a day, because otherwise your social credit score is being taken down. And again, you know, some people might say this is a good thing, because it's like, oh yes, that's so great. Why do you cheer when the government decides to impose itself into the private life of a citizen? Right? I mean, that should be up to the parents to decide how many hours can a kid play. Maybe one day he doesn't get to play at all, and then the other day it's Saturday and it's raining outside, so play away. I don't know. It's just weird. But I just like to see all the simping from the West, where people are like, oh yes, this is a good thing. Why? Because there's authoritarianism in the West, and the answer to authoritarianism is more authoritarianism, so we can fight against this authority. Oh, whatever. Yeah, fine. I personally don't like it, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care. Now, I don't expect the video games journalists to wiggle their hand at China. See, they will wiggle their hand at you as a reader if you don't agree with their progressive policies, but they never do that at China, and I'll tell you why. One of the reasons is that they really hate Steam, and the reason they really hate Steam is because of the platform coming up with a refund option, which is good for you, but it's not good for corporations and their friends. So if you guys don't remember, there used to be a time when if you bought a game on Steam, you couldn't refund it. There was nothing you could do. So then Steam comes up with the idea, look, you can try the game, but if you don't like it, then you get a refund. Oh my god, the journalists lost their shit. From Kotaku, from Polygon, from Rock Paper Shotgun, all of them foaming at the mouth, making articles after articles. Why? Well, because they used to have friends from the industry, and I assume it was mutual favors. So you had like an artsy indie game developer, like the people who made Gone Home, and the press would give them good reviews. They would give them 10 out of 10s. People would buy the game. They would realize that the game isn't what they thought. So there was nothing they could do. They couldn't sell it back. They were stuck like that. And probably the developers from those games would give some money to the journalist, and it was a good business. But now with the refunds, well, you couldn't do that. You know, even if companies would ask you to pre-order their game and give you a lot of perks if you did it, okay, people pre-order the game, they play it, they don't like it, they refund. So they really hate Steam for making this the industry standard. And secondly, they probably hate Steam because it's not progressive. Now, China isn't progressive either, but at least China normalizes authoritarianism. Like, China normalizes the concept of the government or some powerful entity, a corporation, something more powerful than you as an individual, dictating how you should live your life. And they're all about that. So they do agree on the authoritarianism aspect. That's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.